welcome to the Industry of Things World 2015 here in Berlin. It's my pleasure to be here with Johannes Diemer from HP. Johannes.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. Let's get a quick start. How is HP involved in Industry 4.0?
Well, Industry 4.0 is a German initiative which started, I think, if I remember it right, in 2012. And HP was from the very beginning and joining the initiative. At this time it was a project by the federal government, funded and executed by a research institute called Akatech. Some of you may know Mr. Kagermann, who was heading at that time around. And in this time we already had discussions and worked on a recommendation for the federal government. And I think one of the major milestones was April 2013 when we handed over our recommendations to Chancellor Merkel, and I had the honor of being one of the co-authors of this recommendation. So we very early started to think about what Industry 4.0 means, and we formulated those areas where we talked about what are the key aspects of industrial digitization. This is that you first have the vertical integration from the sensor up to the digital service, which is still within the factory, but has a lot of potential for optimization within the factory on the shop floor. Yeah. So really getting the shop floor connected with the office floor, the IT office floor.
Yeah. You held a keynote this morning.
Yeah.
Your talk focused on the concept of industrial digitization. Could you tell us a bit more about it?
The real challenging and interesting aspect of Industry 4.0 is that you work beyond the company, so that you're collaborating across your company boundaries, which we call horizontal integration, which requires that you are living in a connected world, not only connected by internet, but you need to have secure connections between the companies. Then you're really able to share resources, to generate new value networks.
This leads to another interesting aspect. Will the IoT enable new business models or new business applications?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because it's enabling, because the connectivity of devices, and this is what IoT is about, the Internet of Things, is required to make new business. Does it generate the business model or the business case just because you have the connection? No, because you need to think about what you're going to do with this. And this is what Industry 4.0 or industrial digitization is a little different thing than Internet of Things, because industrial digitization or Industry 4.0 really implies that you have this business case, and yet you're talking about the value network. Yeah. And this, so the business case still has to be developed.
Another important aspect, which technologies do you foresee emerging to support the implementation of the industrial internet?
Well, what we really need is connectivity, and there are some standards around like OPC, UR, DDS and others. We're already today providing this connectivity, but what really is missing currently is the real semantics and syntax to make it open. And I think this is something we really have to work on, that we have a way to even integrate all standards, but also extend standards or generate a new description, how those components can be accessed, because they must have the capability that they can explain by themselves what kind of features they have, what parameters they need, in which kind of environment they would be used, and all this information has to be with the device. Maybe as a virtual proxy somewhere, but there must something which is an administrative envelope around this device, and that's needed and required to enable those things. And this is what in Germany we call the Industrial 4.0 component.
What is the biggest opportunity that IoT presents business with today?
Well, the biggest opportunity, let's say the market, which or the implementation, which I'm currently see as one of the drivers for the market, is predictive maintenance. There are so many predictive maintenance solutions around that I also really would call it something like a red ocean, which is that you have a market where you have already a lot of competition. So this is today the biggest opportunity. But I see, if you consider the market of spare parts or other assets, I see possibilities to really further disrupt the market and generate new things, because there's a lot of potential in a lot of other areas which are not directly linked to the fact that we have the vertical integration, but which use the vertical integration.
Talking about the Industry of Things World event itself, what do you think about the format?
First, it's a great conference, and I really liked the industry of things, because it brings back the focus to what IoT really should be for, and where the real potential also is. And I think the format is also fine, because I really enjoyed this icebreaker session yesterday, because this is something which I haven't experienced by myself, but that's maybe my fault. But I think it's a good way to start up the conference in a causal way.
And we have a bunch of great people. You should really get connected.
So it's a good event, and I really love that it's in Berlin, and it brings the link between the States and Germany, between IoT and Industry 4.0. So this is a good format. Yeah.
Thank you, Johannes Diemer from HP. Wish you a great conference.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Eric.